All right, let's dive back into this article, Disquiet at Cape Fear. Last time I said we would talk a little bit about how Jim Morton, who is the current president of Cape Fear, got his job. We talked about the fact that not once, but 3 times the job descriptions for the jobs that he was given at Cape Fear were stripped down to accommodate him. So the big question here is, why would the board or administration at the college do that in order to accommodate this particular candidate? We already know from the last video that John Molina, who was a former trustee at the college, said that during the time that the vote was taken to make Jim the president, that there was a certain faction that wanted him, and it was as simple as that. There was another former administrator who was quoted in this article who chose to remain anonymous, but he said, going all the way back to the initial hiring of Jim as the vice president of business, that there were certain trustees who told this administrator that they intended to place Jim in the VP of business job. After the vote was taken in 2018, the local media, specifically WECT, questioned the board's decision to make someone who didn't hold the appropriate education or have the appropriate qualifications the president of the college. Two trustees who came forward and said that they did vote for Jim were Pat Cusack and Woody White. Pat Cusack was specifically asked, was this a good old boys hire? And her response to that was, it's a critical thing to be connected in the community. She said, it's a relationship business. So in other words, she did not deny that indeed this was a good old boys hire. So who were these good old boys that gave Jim this position? This is where things get a little more interesting and somewhat shrouded in mystery. Pam Kelly, for the article we've been talking about, interviewed a woman named Julie Wilsey. She was the director of the airport when Jim worked at the airport. She introduces a whole new element, the Cape Fear Club. Some of you who live in Wilmington might recognize this building. It's downtown, right behind the downtown post office. This is the headquarters of the Cape Fear Club. It's a men's club that exists here in Wilmington, and it has existed since as early as 1866, when it was created by Confederate officers. It's a men's only club. No women are invited to the club. And in fact, there are only certain areas of the building where women are permitted to be. Miss Wilsey said that during his tenure at the airport, Jim Morton would take consultants and various other business connections at the airport to lunch at the Cape Fear Club. It's also noted in this article that we know former trustees of CFCC were members of the Cape Fear Club as well as members of the airport authority. This is a really interesting quote that Ms. Wilsey gave for this article. Decisions are made in that club each and every day and then sanitized and massaged to go through those public boards to make them look like a majority vote. So she's referencing public boards in the Wilmington area, including the Board of Trustees, having clear connections to decisions that are being made behind closed doors at the Cape Fear Club. Now, you notice when I'm talking about membership in the club and mentioning who is in the Cape Fear Club, we really only have speculation about who is a member of the club. This club is so shrouded in mystery that you can find almost no references to it on the internet. There is no list of members available anywhere, and the history of the club is extremely limited. When different articles are written about the club, oftentimes they quote a Yelp review that was posted 10 years ago, where a gentleman said that the club was like a bunch of old white men sitting around eating lunch below paintings of other old white men. So that's what we know about how Jim became the president of Cape Fear Community College. It seems entirely probable that the Cape Fear Club connection got him placed in this position. And in fact, Julie Wilsey goes on to say just that in this article. And if I can editorialize just for a second, I'm not going to lie, I waited a while to make this video because frankly, talking about the Cape Fear Club, because it's so shrouded in mystery and it clearly is a seat of power here in Wilmington, makes me a little bit nervous because I live in Wilmington and I'm quite certain that they could make my life very miserable if they wanted to. So those are the facts as I know them. More to come later.